actor, comedian, musician, Spider-Man? Donald Glover has many hats, but how much do you really know about this entertainment icon? Keep watching for the untold and surprising truth about Donald Glover. While attending NYU, Donald Glover became a part of Derrick Comedy, a sketch comedy group that performed regularly from 2006 to 2010. It was a formative time for internet culture, and the group took full advantage of the new medium, quickly achieving widespread notoriety with their videos. It wasn't long before they racked up a healthy fan base on YouTube, with comedic skits gaining national media attention. Before parting ways completely, Glover joined forces with his sketch comedy crew and released a detective comedy feature called Mystery Team. Derrick Comedy member D.C. Pearson told Paste magazine that the film was inspired by the group's collective appreciation of Encyclopedia Brown. In 2010, Pajiba called the film the smart kind of dumb, and with appearances by the likes of Aubrey Plaza and Bobby Moynihan, the comedy's cult status has only grown over time. Donald Glover was still living as an RA in his NYU dorm when SNL alum Tina Fey came calling. His work with Derrick Comedy had popped up on her radar, and she actively pursued him to write for her new NBC comedy, 30 Rock. As Fey writes in her memoir, Bossy Pants, because he came from a large family in Georgia, he was very helpful in writing for the character Kenneth the Page. Why did he get this amazing opportunity? Fey admitted to The New Yorker that race was a big factor. She admired Glover's talent, sure, but it was NBC's diversity initiative that made him affordable, or in other words, free. As Glover told Entertainment Weekly, "It just helped you learn the rules of everything. Tina Fey taught me how to write, but also about the politics of television." In a tribute to Glover for Time magazine's 100 Most Influential issue in 2018, Fey wrote, "He embodies his generation's belief that people can be whatever they want and change what it is they want at any time. When you're tired of starring in a network comedy, take a break to pursue your rap career for a Grammy nomination. When you've learned all you can from acting in other people's movies, sit down and create your own piece of art." Donald Glover was raised a Jehovah's Witness, a religious lifestyle that found him sheltered from much of what pop culture had to offer.
I was always taught like the world was kind of a bad place, so like whenever things came in, I'd be like, yo, this is really dope.
Looking at him now, it's kind of hard to imagine the lack of music, movies, and television in the young Glover's life. But that's not for lack of trying. Glover would listen to bootleg audio of Simpsons episodes in bed at night, once saw The Phantom Menace at the movies, and even managed to get away with catching the odd Muppet movie. This unique upbringing shaped Glover into the multi-talented artist he is today. And, funny enough, his role of Troy Barnes in Community was the first openly Jehovah's Witness character on TV. That one's probably no coincidence. 2008 was an interesting time for television. Not only was the country immersed in a presidential election season, members of the Writers Guild were on strike, causing scripted episodic TV to come to a halt. As the strike came to an end, rumors suggested that Saturday Night Live was looking for a new face to step in as then-Senator Barack Obama. The show auditioned a number of performers for the role, including Jordan Peele, Jordan Carlos, and Donald Glover. It took a few more years for Peele to bring his Obama impersonation to TV with Comedy Central's Key and Peele. Would Glover's Barack impersonation have been worthy of the late-night spotlight? It's possible. In the end, though, Lorne Michaels gave Saturday Night Live cast member Fred Armisen the role. Just 1 year later, Glover made his jump from writer to TV actor with his debut as lovable athlete Troy Barnes on Dan Harmon's cult favorite sitcom, Community.
Good news, guys. I spent all my money.
Boy, you can't bring that in here.
Yes, I can. It's all terrain, dummy.
Glover's breakthrough role was on the NBC sitcom Community, but his time as high school football star turned grade-A weirdo Troy Barnes was often fraught behind the scenes, not the least of which was due to the antics of co-star Chevy Chase. The ex-SNL cast member has long had a reputation for being difficult to work with, and fulfilled expectations by seemingly alienating every member of the Community cast and crew. When it came to Glover, many of Chase's remarks and off-color jokes had a racial edge to them, and perhaps some professional jealousy. Community creator and showrunner Dan Harmon told The New Yorker in 2018, "Chevy was the first to realize how immensely gifted Donald was, and the way he expressed that jealousy was to throw Donald off." Glover and Chase would both leave the show after a troubled fourth season, although Harmon convinced Glover to return for a handful of season 5 episodes. There appears to be no one reason why Glover left Community. Rather, it was a combination of factors, including artistic restlessness, the behind-the-scene turmoil of that previous season, and the development of his FX series, Atlanta. In 2010, Twitter was lit up by a campaign to get Donald Glover cast as Spider-Man. Glover himself started the campaign in a tongue-in-cheek way, and even referenced it by appearing in Spider-Man pajamas on an episode of Community. But the hashtag #DonaldForSpider-Man took on a life of its own. Comic book writer Brian Michael Bendis eventually took notice, and in 2011 he introduced a new Spider-Man to Marvel Comics Ultimates series, Miles Morales, a Black and Latino teenager at least partially modeled after Glover. Referring to that episode of Community, Bendis told USA Today, "He looked fantastic. I saw him in the costume and thought, I would like to read that book." Glover missed out the 2012 Sony reboot The Amazing Spider-Man, which used the Peter Parker version of the character, but he did voice Morales in a two-part episode of the animated series Ultimate Spider-Man. In 2017, he made his Marvel Cinematic Universe debut in Spider-Man Homecoming, playing small-time crook Aaron Davis, known in the comics as the Prowler, who also happens to be Miles Morales' uncle. The in-jokes and references get even more twisted around in 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The reality-hopping animated film centers on Miles Morales and includes a cameo of sorts by Glover, as Aaron Davis can be seen watching the episode of Community that featured Glover dressed as Spider-Man. By 2012, Donald Glover had collected an impressive number of accomplishments, especially for someone who'd had their big TV break just a few years prior. With all the work he'd put out into the world by that point, he had shown a proclivity for inducing laughs. And what's the simplest way of doing this? Why, stand-up comedy, of course. In 2010, Glover tested the waters with the half-hour special Comedy Central Presents Donald Glover. It was a time of transition, in between his work on 30 Rock and Community, and the awkwardly energetic aesthetic he cultivated with Derrick Comedy was present throughout the performance.
Just something about men, the second they realize they're crazy, it's like, time to kill everything I love! Time to kill it all, it's all coming with me!
He followed up this stint with an hour-long special 2 years later, titled Donald Glover Weirdo. By this point, though, he had begun releasing music under the Childish Gambino moniker. While joke-telling could have remained fruitful, hip-hop was calling, and it proved to be an even more worthwhile venture. When Donald Glover started making mixtapes, he released them under the rap name Childish Gambino. It's a colorful moniker, to be sure, but what does it mean? Glover explained on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon that he acquired the name from a Wu-Tang Clan name generator. He said,
And then we're all putting them in and they're all funny and stuff, and then mine came up and I was like, you guys, it's not funny anymore. This is something big. Like, I just really liked it.
But what does it actually mean? In a 2011 Fuse interview, Glover recalled a conversation he had with Wu-Tang's RZA, who apparently had some valuable insight. He's like, yo, it's like the computer had a brain. It's like you're childish, but you could also murder someone. Glover was quick to point out that he wouldn't ever kill anybody, instead summing it all up by saying,
For me, it's kind of just like silliness and kind of seriousness.
His name may signify a blend of silliness and seriousness, but Childish Gambino explored a deeper level of artistry with 2016's Awaken My Love, as Rolling Stone argued in their review of the Grammy-winning album. Gambino delves into the kind of grungy stank love that Outkast once indulged in on their magnum opuses. As Gambino's music has continued to mature, Donald Glover's live performances have evolved as well. It all culminated in PHAROS, a live immersive music festival that Glover devised with Microsoft. The 4-day event that transpired in Joshua Tree, California was crafted for a small group of people and featured performances by a number of other musicians, including Glover's longtime collaborator Ludwig Göransson. As Glover told Vanity Fair, PHAROS is meant to be a communal space, a place that evolves and reacts to the culture. We're selling real intimacy. We protect the experience and it becomes something you genuinely share with the people around you and you take away something special. We're looking at expanding the world in 2018. There will be more artists involved. Sure enough, another PHAROS event took place in New Zealand in November 2018. What the future holds for Glover's mini festival, however, remains to be seen. Up until 2014, Donald Glover was pretty active on social media. He regularly shared humorous thoughts and quips on Twitter, and even stirred up rumors about his mental well-being after a series of posts on Instagram. Glover explained his dark Instagram admissions by saying, "I just wanted to write down my feelings. I definitely was just expressing myself." Not long after, Glover drastically limited his social media usage. He later told The New Yorker, "I felt like social media was making me less human. and I already didn't feel that human. Expanding on his issue with the internet, citing the lack of personal connectivity, Glover admitted to Esquire that he largely uses social media anonymously. He said, "I try and find subcultures. I try and find communities. I talk to people as a regular person. It's the only place you can be anonymous." Curious why Donald Glover has a mention in the end credits of Black Panther? It turns out that he and his brother Steven stepped in to help punch up some jokes in director Ryan Coogler's script. Glover told Entertainment Tonight, Ryan was gracious enough to be like, "Will you take a look at this script?" Which was really cool. Marvel locks things down, so we had not as much time as I would have wanted. They had already done a great job, so it was really cool to just get our fingerprints on there a bit. Glover has been known to add some comedy consulting when time allows it. Take Chance the Rapper, for example. Not only have they worked on music together, but Glover gave the rapper some sketch writing assistance when he hosted SNL in November of 2017.
So I brought a few sketches by. One of them made it. I actually got to give credit to my good friend Donald Glover, who helped me with the idea.
Glover's explanation of the vibe of Atlanta to the Television Critics Association in 2016 was as succinct as it was difficult to picture. "I just wanted to make Twin Peaks with rappers." Twin Peaks, the surreal David Lynch television series whose central murder mystery made it an unlikely hit in its first season, seemed like an odd comparison at the time. In fact, everyone expected a comedy more along the lines of what Glover was doing on Community. What Glover and his collaborators delivered instead is a comedy in name only, or one that often substitutes unease and dread for belly laughs. Glover stars as Ern, an aimless man who has fallen into managing the career of his cousin Alfred, a mid-level Atlanta rapper known as Paperboy. The show is frequently hilarious, but what Glover shares with David Lynch is a sense of the uncanny and the sinister lurking in everyday life. For Lynch, that everyday life is the white picket fences of Blue Velvet, or the quirky logging town of Twin Peaks. For Glover, it's the already surreal world of black life in America. And like fellow comedian turned horror maestro Jordan Peele, Glover understands how little it takes to tweak the daily struggles of black Americans into something bizarre and terrifying. Atlanta is nominally a comedy, and there's a fair share of humor featured throughout the series, but the subject matter goes much deeper. Stylistically, there's nothing else like it on television. Chalk that up to the partnership between Donald Glover and director Hiro Murai, who developed their working relationship during multiple Childish Gambino music video shoots. Together, they have collaborated to make Atlanta the Emmy-winning force it is today. Not many people know, though, that the show's aesthetic comes from a short film that Murai and Glover made in 2013. As Murai told Esquire, much of the show's DNA came from a 2013 movie called Clapping for the Wrong Reasons. This is a short that he and Glover made about a rap star moving from room to room in his mansion, drifting among the friends and possessions he'd collected. Film School Rejects commented on the style of the film, writing, "Compared to the high concepts of some of Murai's music videos, it feels downbeat and almost like an LA version of mumblecore, micro-budget movies about creatives aimlessly searching for themselves."
You hate women. What?
As if all of Donald Glover's accomplishments weren't enough, he also made Emmys history when he received 2 accolades for his work on Atlanta: Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series, as well as Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. Glover became the first black director to win in the comedy category. Understandably, it was all a bit overwhelming.
I blacked out. I don't know.
Blacked out.
Yeah, like I was not ready for that.
He explained further, saying he was in a weird phase when he directed Ban, the episode for which he won his Emmy.
I was doing a lot.
Okay.
I was like a new father. I was
Okay.
writing other episodes and directing and like cobbling it together.
He went on to say, "I'm really astonished. I was really shocked." One of the most bizarre and disturbing episodes of Atlanta was Season 2's Teddy Perkins. In this episode, Ern and Alfred's stoner philosopher friend Darius shows up to a large house outside the city to pick up a free piano. There he encounters Teddy Perkins, a reclusive, light-skinned, face-lifted former songwriter who is also played by Glover. Teddy insists on giving Darius a tour of the house, which doubles as a museum dedicated to himself and his brother who lives in the attic. Suffice to say, things get very creepy very quickly. This is the furthest Atlanta has tipped into outright horror, at least in its first 3 seasons. It was made all the more unsettling when Glover brought his terrifying creation into the real world, apparently dressing as Teddy Perkins at the 2018 Emmy Awards when he was nominated for Best Actor in a Comedy Series. The word apparently is important here, because later in the evening, Glover and Teddy Perkins were somehow photographed together. So, who was sitting in Glover's seat? Internet sleuths scoured the possibilities for months. An E! News report at the time quoted a source claiming that the person under the makeup was former SNL cast member Jay Pharoah, which Pharoah all but confirmed in a 2021 video interview with Condé Nast Traveler.
Had to be somebody under there, right? Had to be somebody. 3 hours of makeup.
In 2018, Childish Gambino released This Is America. The song and its accompanying Hero Mirai-directed video was an immediate viral hit. It launched 1,000 think pieces, scouring its every lyric and image for meaning. Mirai presents the bulk of the video as a single take, following Glover through an empty warehouse, alternating between moments of joy to moments of shocking violence. Likewise, the music crashes buoyant, Caribbean-inspired rhythms up against the haunting drone of its chorus. Glover performed the song when he hosted Saturday Night Live that year, and a version of it also appeared in Glover's 2019 short film Guava Island. It also became the first rap song to ever win Song of the Year at the Grammys. Glover's work elicited a number of negative reactions as well, with some taking issue with what they saw as his exploiting black trauma and violence under the guise of making art. He's also been accused of plagiarism on more than one occasion. In 2018, fans noted the similarities between This Is America and rapper Jace Harley's 2016 song American Pharaoh. Harley declined to take legal action, apparently grateful just to be part of the conversation. In 2021, however, the rapper Kid West filed a suit against Glover on behalf of his own 2016 song Made in America. Glover maintains that This Is America predates both Harley and Kid West's tracks. Season 3 of Atlanta premiered in March 2022 after a 4-year hiatus. During that time, one of Glover's most high-profile gigs was the 2019 live-action remake of Disney's The Lion King. Director Jon Favreau and an army of visual effects artists crafted a new version of the classic 1994 animated film in photorealistic CGI, but crucially retained the original film's award-winning songs. This meant that Glover, playing Simba, had to sing the well-known duet Can You Feel the Love Tonight with Nala, played in the remake by Beyonce Knowles Carter. Glover was in London filming Solo, a Star Wars story at the time, so he recorded his vocals separately, which, as he joked on Jimmy Kimmel Live, was probably a good thing for him.
I did not want to be looking into Beyonce's eyes while doing this.
Despite being an acclaimed recording artist in his own right, having to match pipes with Beyonce in the same room would be a pretty nerve-wracking thing. In the segment, Kimmel suggests that it was probably less intimidating to record separately. Glover agrees.
I imagine it's less intimidating playing basketball with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
If you're at home just throwing.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite celebrities are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.